Welcome to this tutorial on how to set up this hydroponic controller. Firstly, I'm going to show you how to set up and configure the EC controller. Press and hold the escape and calibrate buttons for about 5 seconds to go into programming mode. The first parameter you'll see is language selection. The default setting is English and we will leave it there. Now press the down button to go to set point 1. Press enter. For you to change set point 1, press enter and the value will flash. Use the up and down arrows to change the value. For the purposes of this tutorial, I've set the value to 900 microsiemens. Now press enter again to return to the programming mode menu. Press the down arrow. The next parameter is the type of set point. The type of set point in this application is low, meaning that if the actual value is lower than the set point, the pump will turn on. Now press the down arrow and we go to the proportional band. For more information, please refer to the manual, page 7.3.5 for an explanation of this feature. For our application, I have turned this value to its lowest, which is 100 microsiemens. For hysteresis, we have set this to 50 microsiemens. So this means as soon as the actual value goes 50 microsiemens or lower than the set point, the EC pump will be switched on. The on timer can be set so you can limit for how long the pump must switch on. Values are either off or a range from 1 to 480 minutes. For the purposes of this tutorial, it is turned off. The off timer can be set so you can limit the off period in between dosing cycles. You can set a time delay for the pump to start. The reason for this is to eliminate quick fluctuations on false signals. You can set up a time delay, but I normally switch the end delay off. Set point 2 is used for our interlock with the pH controller and pH pump. Please take note, the values in set point 2 must be the same as in set point 1 for the lockout of the pH system to work correctly. So if you change set point 1, you have to change set point 2 as well. For the temperature, we have set the units to degrees Celsius. The hand value is when you use an EC probe that does not have temperature compensation. For output milliamps, this can be set to your requirements if you want to link the EC values to a logger or SCADA system. Select between 4 to 20 milliamps or 0 to 20 milliamps. You can enter your EC values for 4 milliamps, and with this controller the minimum is 100 microsiemens and 20 milliamps is 20 millisiemens, which is the highest value it can read. In the advanced setting menus, the first value is the cell constant. The second value is for set point 2 function. It's important that this must remain on dosing for our application. The following parameters are hold on, calibrate on, and statistics. We do not need to change any of these settings for the purpose of our tutorial. For more information on what these settings do, please refer to the instruction manual. Press the escape mode button until you get to exit and save message. Now press enter to save all changes. The controller now indicates that the pump is on and the pump is running. Now when we move the probe to a higher solution than the set point, the controller will stop the EC pump. When the EC has reached its set point, it will allow for the pH pump to switch on if it is required to do so. To set up the pH controller, press and hold the escape and calibrate buttons together for 5 seconds. As in the previous controller, the program menu is somewhat similar and therefore self-explanatory. The default language setup is English. The next parameter is set point 1. Press enter and go to set point. In this case, the set point is 6. To change the value, press enter and when it flashes, use the up or down arrows to increase or decrease the value. The next parameter is type. Your solution would be either alkaline or acidic. In this case, our water is alkaline, so I have to add some acid. This value is now set to acid and the controller knows that I want to lower my pH. Proportional bandwidth is 0.4. This is the default lowest setting. The hysteresis is the deviation value where the pump will turn on. If the set point is 6, the pump will switch on at 6.2 if the hysteresis is set to 6.2. The following parameters are timer, which is set as on, timer off, which I will leave for 0 for now, delay start, which is set to 10 seconds, delay end, which I will leave on for 0 seconds. Set point 2 I left the same as set point 1. Because it's not used in this application. Once again, the temperature is set to degrees Celsius. The hand value is set to 25 degrees Celsius, for we do not have temperature compensation on this controller. The output, the range is set to 4 to 20 milliamps. A value of 4 pH is 4 milliamps and 14 pH is 20 milliamps. In the advanced menu, config measure is set to measure pH and the resolution is set to low. Setpoint 2 is set for dosing as well, but is not used in this case. Hold is switched on. Calibrate is left on. And the pH controller is now configured. Press the escape mode button until you get to the exit and save message. Now press enter to save all changes. For the relay setup, go to the control panel menu on the EC controller. Press enter to go to relay 1 contact. The default is set to normally open. To change, press enter, then with the up and down arrows, change it to the value required. For this application, we will need relay 1 as a normally open contact. Relay 2 must be set to normally close contact during EC dosing to lock out our pH controller during EC dosing. Press the minus button so you can get to temperature calibrate. Here you can calibrate your temperature probe in the EC probe. Now exit and always saves changed values. In order to calibrate the pH controller, press and hold the calibrate and enter button until the screen changes to calibrate. Now the controller will ask for a buffer solution of 7 pH. Insert the probe into a 7 pH buffer solution and press enter. The controller will now count down for 60 seconds. Please ensure that the probe stays in the buffer solution during this process. One important note: once the controller has counted down to 0, it will indicate the percentage value on the screen. This indicates the quality of the probe. In this case, at a 7 pH buffer, it's at 100%. Now rinse the probe in water and insert it into the 4 pH buffer. Press enter and the controller will recognize that the buffer has changed. It indicates now either a 4 pH or a 9.2 pH buffer. Press enter again and the timer will start to count down from 60 seconds. At 30 seconds, the controller will detect what buffer you are using, in this case a 4 pH buffer. The controller once again gives you a quality value of 75% in this case, indicating that we are still within spec. Now press enter and you have successfully calibrated the pH probe. Press and hold the enter calibrate button until the screen changes. Wait 10 seconds and the controller will indicate the temperature of the solution. If this needs to be corrected, you can manually change the temperature reading. Next, enter the buffer value. In this case, our buffer value is 1413 microsiemens. The controller will count down another 10 seconds and then you will have successfully calibrated the conductivity controller. Interlocking a flow switch or level switch. A flow switch or level switch can be connected to the controller. As soon as this function is enabled and there is no flow, the controller will indicate hold and the outputs will be disabled. As soon as flow or the right level is detected, the hold sign disappears and the controller will begin to operate again.